When my son-in-law told me to sit in the kitchen during Christmas dinner, I didn't argue. I just smiled, nodded, and quietly took my plate there. It wasn't the first time he had tried to make me feel small, but that night, it sank deep into my heart. You see, I've lived long enough to know that respect is never about money or age. It's about how you treat people when you think no one's watching. But that evening, everyone was watching. The house was full, my daughter, her husband, his parents, their friends, and me, sitting alone in the kitchen like an uninvited guest in a home I once helped them buy furniture for. I could hear their laughter from the dining room. The clinking of glasses. The smell of roasted turkey drifted through the air, along with the sound of my daughter's soft laughter. The same laugh that used to light up my life when she was a little girl. But that night, she didn't look back. Not even once. I sat quietly, my plate on my lap, while my son-in-law, Andrew, raised a toast. To family, he said. To the people who make Christmas special. And I thought to myself, I used to be one of those people. I could have said something then. I could have stood up and reminded him that the roof above his head once needed my signature for the bank loan, or that I was the one who fixed their leaking sink last spring when he was too busy. But no. I stayed silent. Because I knew, life has its own way of balancing the scales. And when the time came, I'd be there, quiet, calm, and ready. My name is George. I'm 64 years old, retired, and widowed for almost a decade now. My wife, Mary, was the heart of our home. When she passed away, I poured all my love into our daughter, Emily. Emily was a bright, kind-hearted woman. She married young, at 24, to a man named Andrew Collins. At first, I liked him. He was polite, ambitious, and charming. The kind of man who knows how to make an impression. But charm can be deceiving. Andrew wasn't cruel in obvious ways. He was the quiet kind of cruel. The kind that makes you question your worth with small gestures, small words, and careful exclusion. He'd say things like, "George, you should rest, this isn't for you." Or, "Let's keep the conversations light, we wouldn't want to bore anyone." He made me feel like a guest in my daughter's life. Still, I tried to ignore it. For Emily's sake. I would visit once a week, bring small gifts for their kids, my grandchildren, and help around the house. Fixing, painting, doing the things fathers do when they want to stay useful. Emily always said, "Dad, you don't have to do all this." And I'd just smile and say, "I know. But I like to." Because helping her made me feel close to my late wife. That year, Christmas was supposed to be special. Emily had invited me weeks in advance, saying, "Dad, it'll be wonderful. The kids can't wait to see you." So I bought gifts, carefully chosen ones for each of them. A dollhouse for Lily, a Lego set for James, a perfume for Emily, and a fine leather wallet for Andrew. I even ironed my best shirt that morning, the one Mary had given me years ago. But as soon as I stepped into their house that evening, I felt something was off. Andrew's smile was thin. Forced. His parents were there too, people who'd never warmed up to me. The dining table was beautifully set, but there was one chair missing. Mine. I asked casually, "Should I grab another chair from the living room?" Andrew shook his head. "Oh, George, we didn't expect everyone to fit at the main table this year. The kids wanted their grandparents close. But you can sit in the kitchen, it's more comfortable there. Less noise. Less noise." I looked at Emily, hoping she'd say something. But she just lowered her eyes and said, "Dad, maybe that's better. The kitchen's warmer." I smiled. That's all I could do. So I sat in the kitchen, alone, while laughter spilled from the dining room. Every now and then, Emily would peek in and say, "You okay, Dad?" I'd nod and tell her, "I'm fine, sweetheart." But inside, I wasn't fine. I had raised that girl. Worked double shifts when she was a child. Sold my truck so she could go to college. I had never let her feel poor or lonely. And now, I was the one left out. I could hear Andrew's father bragging about his investments, his son's promotions, and their new vacation home. Andrew soaked it all in, pretending to be the golden man of the family. At one point he called out, "Hey George. You okay in there?" Everyone laughed. I heard his mother whisper, "He's probably used to eating alone." More laughter. I kept my eyes on my plate. There's a kind of silence that burns more than words ever could. And I sat in that silence until dinner was done. Afterward, Emily came in with the dessert tray. "Dad, want some pie?" I looked up at her and said softly, "No thanks, honey. I'm full." She hesitated. "You sure?" "Yes. You go enjoy your guests." She smiled weakly and walked away. When they were done eating, Andrew came into the kitchen holding a few dirty plates. He smirked. "You know, George, you could have helped serve instead of sitting there." I looked at him, calm, unshaken, and said, "You're right. I could have." That was all. But in that moment, I made a decision. See, revenge isn't about anger. It's about balance. And that night, I promised myself I'd restore mine. Quietly. 2 weeks later, Emily called me. Her voice was cheerful. "Dad, we've been meaning to thank you for the Christmas gifts. The kids loved them." I smiled and said, "I'm glad." Then she added, "Oh, and Andrew mentioned we're planning to buy a new car. We might need a small loan, just until his bonus comes through." I paused. You see, for years, I had helped them financially. I had lent them money when they bought their first home, co-signed the mortgage, and even helped with their down payments. But this time, I saw my opportunity. I said gently, "Of course, sweetheart. Let's meet at the bank next week. I'll help however I can." When the day came, I dressed neatly and arrived early. Andrew walked in with that confident air of his, wearing a sharp suit and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He said, "George, I knew you'd come through." I nodded. "Yes, I'll come through. But there's one thing I'd like to settle first, the loan from last year." His smile faded. "What loan?" "The 20,000 I gave you for home renovations. You said you'd return it after the bonus." He laughed. "Oh, George, that was more of a gift, wasn't it?" "No, Andrew," I said calmly. "It wasn't. I even have the bank transfer slips." He shifted uncomfortably. "We'll talk about it later." "I think now is later." He frowned, glancing at Emily, who looked embarrassed. I continued, still calm. "You see, I've decided to settle my finances. I'm planning to move into a retirement community soon. I'll need my money back, all of it." Andrew tried to argue, but I stopped him gently. "Don't worry, I'm not rushing. I'll just let the bank know that my name will no longer be attached to your mortgage. They'll contact you about taking full ownership." His eyes widened. He realized what that meant. Without my co-signature, their mortgage rate would skyrocket. I stood, shook his hand and said, "I wish you both the best." "Truly." Then I walked out. A week later, I got a call from Emily. She was crying. "Dad, the bank's saying our payment's going up. Andrew's furious." "I'm sorry to hear that, sweetheart. Maybe he can ask his father for help." There was silence. Then she whispered, "Dad, are you angry at me?" "No, Emily," I said softly. "I'm just tired of being treated like I don't belong." Months passed. I didn't visit as often. I spent my time quietly, tending to my garden, reading, and volunteering at a local shelter. I found peace in small things. Then one day, around November, Emily called again. "Dad, can we have Christmas together this year? The kids miss you." I hesitated. "Is Andrew okay with that?" She sighed. "He said it's fine. Please come." I agreed. But I had no intention of letting history repeat itself. This time, I reserved a table at a fine restaurant, a place called the Maple Hearth, known for its Christmas dinners. I paid the reservation in advance and asked the staff to put everything under my name. When Emily and her family arrived, they were surprised. "Dad, you arranged this?" she asked. I smiled. "Yes. I thought it'd be nice to have someone else cook for once." The evening started well. The kids were happy, the lights were soft, the food was delicious. Andrew, however, couldn't resist small jabs. "So, George, retirement treating you well? Still fixing things around the house to stay busy?" I smiled. "Something like that." He laughed, taking another sip of wine. "Good for you." I let him talk. I listened, quietly observing the same arrogance I had seen a year before. But then, when the waiter brought the bill, Andrew waved his hand. "I've got it." I raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" "Of course. I'm the man of the family." He smirked. The waiter placed the bill folder on the table. Andrew opened it, expecting a modest number. His face went pale. He looked up. This can't be right." "Oh, it's right," I said calmly. "I ordered the premium Christmas package. Full dinner, wine, dessert, everything included. It's prepaid." He blinked. "Prepaid?" "Yes," I said. "But I asked the restaurant to put your name on the invoice. You said you'd got it, remember?" Emily looked confused. "Dad, what do you mean?" I leaned back, smiling softly. "I mean, this dinner's already covered, by the man who wanted me to sit in the kitchen last year. Consider it my gift of closure." Andrew opened his mouth, but no words came out. The waiter quietly confirmed, "Yes, Mr. Collins. It's under your account, as requested last year when you made the Christmas reservation but never paid the deposit. Mr. George here simply completed your booking." He froze. You see, last Christmas, Andrew had promised the restaurant he'd host their family dinner there but cancelled last minute to save money. The deposit remained due, his name on record. I just revived the booking, finished the payment, and had the bill transferred to him as the official account holder. The perfect, quiet loop of irony. He tried to protest, but the waiter handed him the receipt. "We'll just need your signature here." I looked at him, calm, peaceful, and said, "Merry Christmas, Andrew." 6. Ending, reflection and moral. That was the last Christmas I spent with them. A few weeks later, Emily came by alone. She looked ashamed. "Dad, I'm sorry for what happened." He was wrong. I was wrong. I poured her a cup of tea and said, "You don't need to apologize, sweetheart. Sometimes, silence teaches louder than words ever could." She held my hand and cried. "You didn't deserve that, Dad." I smiled softly. Maybe I did. Maybe I needed it to see where I stood. But I've learned something. She looked up. "What's that?" "That respect can't be demanded or bought. It's shown through how we treat people, especially when no one's watching." She nodded quietly. After that, she began visiting more often, just her and the kids. Sometimes, she'd bring dinner. Sometimes, she'd just sit and talk. As for Andrew, I heard he's still trying to manage his bills. Life has a funny way of evening things out. I didn't destroy him. I didn't expose him. I just showed him through action what it feels like to be overlooked. And the best part? I did it without raising my voice, without anger, without hate. That's the thing about quiet revenge. It doesn't shout. It just waits. Patiently. Now, every Christmas, I light a candle for Mary, pour myself a small glass of wine, and watch the snow fall outside my window. And I whisper to myself, sometimes silence is the best revenge.